Goldstein, a graduate. And we're incredibly proud of him, and he's offered to speak to us for a little bit, so he's willing to take any questions.
Yeah. Hi guys, thanks for coming today. I heard you guys were a great crowd for MHS Day at Circle in the Square. Yeah, let's just open it up to questions.
How had your experience in Pace inspired you to be director on Broadway?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I think that if Pace taught me anything, it was to be fearless in your work, in what you do, to not worry about what the outcome was going to be, that the getting there was much more interesting, and that if you actually... And I do this through everything in my life, the notion that the getting there is actually more important than the result, and often if you allow yourself to go on the journey in a way with respect for the work and for yourself and for what you're doing, then the result will be different. Yes?
How was that, like, the technical part of it, the stage was really cool?
Yeah, so technically the show looks incredibly simple, and that's by design. The show itself it's meant to be for theater. The show was created at Carnegie Mellon with a bunch of students. There was a fence, and there were 2 sawhorses, 3 planks, and a bunch of bags of garbage. And they had little lamps overhead with pull strings. That's it. Now, we're on Broadway, and people pay money to see the show, and they expect a little more, but I didn't want to lose that aesthetic. So we tried to keep everything very hands-on, so that they could, if something's coming up from the floor, you open it and there's stuff. If there's, fog, it's just chunks of dry ice that they pour into water. There are no fancy machines. The only real fanciness is the automation of flying Jesus, but that's sort of a special moment at the end. So the engineering of that for this space, and also the show was created for this space, and this space only. So what else? Yeah.
Do the actors feel exposed in the circle?
They do. It's actually very scary for them, and they never leave. I mean, they're all so tired after every show because it's 2.5 hours of them. There's no offstage time. There's no rest time. They all fight for the little moments, like, I'll bring that prop off stage so they can grab some water. So yeah, and I talk to them often about making sure. I just gave Nick this note the other day that something was happening at the very beginning when he goes, no, is that a rhetorical question? You didn't understand what was happening from that side because he wasn't doing it with his body. His face was making sense, but then it was only like these people who got it. So I said, you need to act with your body a little more. So yeah, they do. Hunter was talking about that in his talk back the other night, that he felt it was getting used to feeling so close. You can see them, you can see the audience really clearly, which is different for a lot of Broadway shows. I don't know the answer to that question. Honestly, it kind of sort of happened. I will say that in Pace I started directing things, and I went to summer camp and did like a couple of little one-act things. But in Pace, I did the first real thing I directed was a Romulus Linen play called Akamataza, about the poet. Like, I couldn't do it. Anyway, I was really, really proud of that and the challenge of it. And I had no idea what I was doing, but we figured it out. And then when I went to school, I went to Northwestern and studied performance studies because I didn't want to do like a conservatory theater program. I wanted to go to like college, which I am a strong proponent of college. There is a lot of time to study musical theater and only musical theater. College is really important. I remember, moments in rehearsals when I was assisting Mr. Fred on stuff that were really great and funny, and moments like I remember for some reason dropping balloons during Reckless my freshman year because I was on crew from the grid in the old Pace Center before it was the new Pace Center. I was the one class that worked in the old Pace Center, the post-road cafeteria, and then the new Pace Center. The music class was on the post-road side, I think.
It was on the post-road side.
It was on the post-road side in the chorus teacher's room. So that's, yeah.
In the musical we did, How to Succeed in Business, he was Bud Frump. And he also wrote 2 plays. One was called Faith in a Cape, and the other one was called Harry and the People of America. Harry and the People of America. And I remember, speaking about the Crucible, there was a senior that I cast as Putnam, and it didn't have enough lines. So this senior, who shall remain nameless, even though I remember the name, said, "This doesn't have enough lines for me. I'm not doing it." And so I said, "Oh, okay." And I went to Danny and I said, "I would like you to play the role." And then, like 2 days later, you came up to me and you said, "Was he crazy dropping out of this play?
Such a good
because
play.
It's such a
actually
great
a really
part."
good